There was a girl named Mary who lived in a village called Nazareth. She was going to marry a carpenter named Joseph. Mary was a wonderful girl. One day an angel came to her. "Greetings, the Lord is with you," the angel said. "You will have a son and you will name him Jesus." Mary was so surprised. Mary knew that God had sent the angel to her. "How can this happen?" Mary asked. The angel answered, "The Holy Spirit will make this happen. Your child will be the Son of God." "Let it be done to me as God wishes," Mary said. Jesus was born and 3 visiting wise men declared him the future king. 33 years later, an adult Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan River. The event is referenced in the canonical Gospel of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Jesus travels to Galilee and begins recruiting followers, from James to his brother John, to Peter the fisherman, to Matthew the tax collector. These men and women will become his disciples. Through his teachings and numerous miracles, Jesus builds a huge following who begins to call him his son. He also draws the attention of the Pharisees, the Jewish religious leaders. The Pharisees claim Jesus is blaspheming God by forgiving sins, something only God can do. Jesus responds by saying he is the Son of God. Jesus tells the disciples they are to travel to Jerusalem for the upcoming Passover holiday. He enters the city on the back of a donkey and is met by a huge crowd of supporters who lay palm leaves in his path. Caiaphas, the head of the Pharisees, is afraid Jesus' presence in the city will further agitate the people, who are already in a near state of revolt against the oppressive Romans, led by Pontius Pilate. Upon entering the temple, Jesus sees the money changers and proceeds to open their tables. This act draws cheers from the people and scorn from the Pharisees. Later, Jesus tells the little girl that every stone of the temple will soon fall. The Pharisees take this as a plan to destroy the temple and decide Jesus must be stopped. Judah, one of Jesus' disciples, approaches the Pharisees. He also believes Jesus is going too far and wants to help. They give him 30 pieces of silver for his assistance. That night, Jesus tells the disciples this will be their last supper together and says that one of them will betray him. Later in the garden, Judah kisses Jesus' cheek, thereby identifying Jesus to the Pharisees and revealing Judah. Betrayal, and Jesus is then arrested for the blasphemy. Caiaphas orders an immediate trial, even though it's late at night and not in public, which are violations of Jewish law. He is afraid an open trial on Passover will cause trouble, and Pilate will close the temple. Caiaphas asks Jesus if he is the Son of God, and he answers, "I am." This is all the Pharisees need to hear, and they immediately find him guilty of blasphemy. That morning, to a growing crowd, Caiaphas announces Jesus' guilt and reveals the penalty for blasphemy is death. Judah, horrified by what he has done, throws the silver at the Pharisees and runs over. He later hangs himself. Peter had denied Jesus 3 times. Jesus had told him, "Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't know me." This made Peter very sad. he cried and ran away. Caiaphas believes if the Pharisees killed Jesus on Passover, it would start a riot, so he turns him over to the Romans for the punishment. Pilate tells Caiaphas that Jesus didn't break any Roman laws, but orders him to be lashed 40 times. Every part of my heart to him, and all that I do, every word that I say, I'll be giving my all just for him. Since it's Passover, Pilate says he will follow tradition and free a prisoner of the people's choosing, and if they choose Jesus, he will be set free. By this time, Jesus' mother Mary has arrived in Jerusalem to see what is happening to her son. Pilate orders the crowd to enter his courtyard to choose whether to release Jesus or Barabbas, a convicted murderer. Since none of Jesus' followers were allowed into the courtyard, Caiaphas easily sways the vote so that Barabbas is set free. Pilate then asks what he should do with Jesus, and again Caiaphas sways the crowd to have him executed by the way of crucifixion. Fearing a riot among the hostile people, Pilate orders the crucifixion. A battered and bloody Jesus then carries his cross to Golgotha and is nailed to it by the mocking Roman guards, who earlier had placed a crown of thorns on his head. Before the cross is put into place, Pilate orders a sign attached to it, reading, "The King of the Jews," much to Caiaphas' dismay. With John, Mary, and Mary Magdalene watching in horror, Jesus hangs from the cross for several agonizing hours. After forgiving the Romans, asking why God has forsaken him, and declaring it is finished, Jesus dies. He is then lowered from the cross and placed into a tomb, which is sealed off with a large rock.
3 days later, Mary Magdalene goes to visit the tomb, but it is shocked to see the rock broken into pieces, and the tomb empty. She sees a man by the tomb's entrance and realizes she is Jesus. Jesus has been resurrected. Mary goes to the disciples' hiding place and tells them the good news, but they don't believe her. Jesus then appears to them and warns them, except the Roman tombs. One stone statues Jesus, and he believes. 4 days later, Jesus speaking to his disciples and tells them to try not to share his message. According to Mark and Luke, the announcement of Jews' recreation from first made to woman. According to Matthew and John, Jesus actually appeared first to woman. In Luke's account, the woman's report of the empty tomb is dismissed by the apostles,